Okay. So the only time I am going to have you look into the camera now.
Okay.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us where we are today and what you're teaching.
We are at Longwood Elementary School. My name is Candace Pierce, and I teach kindergarten.
Awesome. Good job. See? Not so bad. All right. So first question is... All right, we want to understand the decisions you made in planning for this lesson and how it fits into the unit and year. First question is, how does this lesson connect to and build on students' prior skills and knowledge?
So this lesson came from, our background knowledge is from social studies, and we study communities and jobs. And our writing piece is from the nonfiction research aspect. Because we were studying jobs, we decided to have the children research different jobs. We worked together to do a teaching model first. So we did the I do, we do type. I just totally lost what I was saying. I'm sorry.
Someone from Spain is calling us. Okay.
I just totally lost it.
All right.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Sorry about the phone interrupting.
That's all right.
Let me put it on me so it just doesn't make that noise. Okay. So first question again. How does this lesson connect to and build on students' prior skills and knowledge? You want me to read the intro? We want to understand the decisions you made in planning for this lesson and how it fits into the unit and the year. How does this lesson connect to and build on students' prior skills and knowledge?
Okay.
Do you want me to read the whole thing so maybe you can tie it all in? So the full question is, how does this lesson connect to and build on students' prior skills and knowledge? What was taught before this lesson and what will come after it?
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
In our social studies unit, we are studying communities and jobs. To extend that unit to writing with nonfiction text, we decided to have the children research different jobs that we had information on that had great pictures for the children to use in order to find facts. Prior to today's lesson, we did a class project, and in the class project, we together as a class researched the job of a teacher. When we researched the job of a teacher, we found that all of our facts fit into four categories. One of the categories is the tools that a teacher used. So when we are doing our research now, we today did the tools that the different professions use. We will continue to do where the different professions work and then what the actual professional does in their job. And then any extra information goes into an interesting facts section of the children's report. And then when we take that information, the children will then take their Post-its and write complete sentences and have a report with 3 to 4 different topics. So they'll have a report on police officers, and it will include where police officers work, what police officers do, the tools they use, and then interesting facts about the police officer.
Good. Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, I think that's it.
Is the text used in this lesson part of a sequence of text designed to build skills and knowledge? If so, please give example of other texts that form this sequence.
These texts were not in any series or sequence. All of the texts that I pulled for research in our class, I try to make sure that they're rich in visual literacy. Most children in kindergarten can't read. And so we want to make sure that the information that's in front of them, they have good visual literacy to pull the information Today during the lesson, there was a specific book that had tools on the front, and a child who cannot read looked at it and saw the thermometer and was able then to put on their Post-it that a thermometer was used as a tool. So none of the books are from a series, but the books were chosen specifically for the visual literacy piece.
Talk about the standards targeted in this lesson. What did you do to make the lesson reflect the full intent of the standard? Standard or standards?
Yeah. There are two major standards that this lesson hit. One is that children need to use a combination of drawing, dictating, and writing to compose informative, explanatory texts in which they name what they are writing about and supply some information about the topic. So their final piece, that is what we are striving for. The other piece is participate in shared research and writing projects. So the class project went around that shared research piece and writing project, and then using the combination of drawing, dictating, and writing to compose the informative text is what they will be working on next. There were many other standards that were involved. At the very beginning, we talked about sounding out groundhog, and those are the very simple beginning foundational skills for literacy for children, knowing that the letter G, the sound is G, and being able to write the letter G from that. Being able to use their pictures to support what they're writing. They have to be able to print many upper and lowercase letters. They have to demonstrate an understanding of print. So for the children to be able to pick up a book and know that that picture matches the text so they can gather information from the picture is one of the standards that this lesson also targeted.
Okay, great. You're doing great. Which of the core action indicators do you think this lesson best exemplifies, and why?
I think that this lesson best exemplifies core action 1, which is focus each lesson on highly quality text or multiple texts.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Pause it for a sec. I'll try not to cough. Which of the core action indicators do you think this lesson best exemplifies, and why?
I think this lesson best exemplifies core action 1, focus each lesson on highly quality text or multiple texts. I really made sure that I pulled good nonfiction text for the children, that they could really get the information that they were looking for through pictures. We also looked for books that were very simplistic in what was written but had very rich support with those pictures, being kindergarten level and knowing that children were having a hard time with the reading piece. Knowing that if it was rich in visual literacy, that the children would be able to pull information from that. I also think, though, that core action 3, that children are to provide all students with opportunities to engage in the work of the lesson is very
Correction 3.
is exemplified. Is that what that was?
Yeah. Which of the core action indicators do you think this lesson best exemplifies?
I think core action 3, this lesson also exemplifies because all of the children were involved in what they were doing. They were on task, they were working, they were trying to find the information that they were looking for.
Okay, so moving on. We are interested in how the shifts required by the CCSS are being incorporated into your instruction. Discuss how this lesson illustrates the shifts required by the CCSS. There's no winning here today.
No, there's not.
I'll read it one more time. Again, we're interested in how the shifts required by the CCSS are being incorporated into your instruction. Question 1, discuss how this lesson illustrates the shifts required by the CCSS.
Okay. The shifts are building knowledge through content-rich nonfiction, also regular practice with complex text and its academic language. I think those complement each other, especially in this lesson, but knowing that kindergarten children maybe are not able to read, I have found, being in a kindergarten classroom for several years, that children can always pick up a nonfiction text and read the pictures. They can read the labels. They can gather information from a book that they can't read just by being able to look at those pictures. Another one of the shifts is reading, writing, and speaking are grounded in evidence from text. So the children are definitely pulling out specific information from their text in order to complete this type of research project. These 3 shifts are not just in this research project, but daily we write about things that we read about. We pull that evidence out. It's not just, did I like this book? But we also talk about why you like the book. Let's go back into the text and find something specific that you liked about the text and put that in your reading response.
How did you teach the content of this lesson or this text prior to the CCSS? What is the same and what is different? You want me to read it one more time, or you could?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
In the past, I think that I've probably just read more of the text to the children and haven't required them to necessarily go into the text as much and pull specifics out. Before Common Core, we probably just did more for the children rather than having the children do the majority of that work. Once they've been taught it, once we've modeled it, I probably would have stopped at the class project rather than extending it and having the children do what they're doing now in the classroom with their own research with that group, and then extending it further for them into that final copy of a research project. I didn't restate your question in there, did I?
It's okay.
Okay.
That's how most interviews go. But
I've been trying to think about that as I've been going. That one I know I didn't.
Well, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to lay out the question and then show the clip.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just make it easier on everybody. Next set of questions. Student engagement is crucial to the work of the CCSS. We want to understand how you ensured that all students had the opportunity to productively engage in the work of the lesson. First question, how did you support all students in working with grade level text? For example, how did you provide scaffolding for students below grade level so they can read grade level text?
In this lesson specifically, we are very lucky to have the LMC director that we have. She has searched for nonfiction text appropriate for our young children. The series that we would love to have all of the books for, we actually have the database for on our laptops. So children who need more information and aren't at level to read, or who are not gathering just all of their information from the pictures, are able to use the computers, and in the database that we have, it actually reads the text for them. So today there were some children who were using the computers that could gather information about tools just by listening, and then they could pause what they were listening to and replay what they were listening to as well as look at the picture that was with the information in order to get that information.
Next part of the question is, how did you create opportunities for students who are advanced to engage more deeply with grade level or above grade level text?
Again, nonfiction lends itself to children who are in kindergarten, whether they are below level or above grade level. Children who are above grade level using nonfiction text can definitely read more of the labels, more of the text, and are able to really interact with that text the way, or close to the way we as adults interact with that text. It's nice to be able to have the same text in front of two children. Maybe one is advanced and one is not advanced, and they could maybe gather the same information, one from the picture and one from the text itself, and confirm with each other that information.
How do you know the students were able to successfully respond to the text-dependent questions and tasks with precision?
The questions today had to do with the tools that the different professions use. I knew that the information that I pulled had those specific pictures or had specific text relating to the tools. I know that the children were able to find that specific information because they were able to show me what they had found in the picture.
So they did you call me?
As a kindergarten student, they can use. That's all right. I'm sorry.
That's okay. How do you know that the students were able to successfully respond to the text-dependent questions and tasks with precision?
Okay. Is that on? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I know that the children were able to respond to the questions with precision because I was able to talk to them about what information they were gathering. The text-dependent question was specific yet general. It was, what tools do the different professions use? I had picked text that I knew that information was in, so the children would be able to find the information either by using a picture or by reading the words that were in the text for the nonfiction. And then when I walked around, I was able to talk to the children about what they were finding and what they saw or where they found that information. And they were easily able to show me in the book where they found that information or to tell me the new information that they had found.
Did students acquire the literary skills addressed in the lesson?
Is that referring to the standards?
No, that's just today. Do you think that they basically, did they acquire the literary skills that were addressed in this lesson? Could you tell by going around that they were picking up what was necessary?
Oh, okay. I feel that the children were able to address the skills? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Again, we're not rushed, it doesn't matter. Did students acquire the literary skills addressed in the lesson?
Okay. I feel that the children were able to, is it address the skills? I'm trying to repeat your question, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
Were they able to?
You know, did the students acquire the literary skills?
They
addressed
did
in the
acquire,
lesson?
yes, okay. The students were able to acquire the literary skills that were addressed in the lesson. I know this because when I walked around, I was able to talk to the children about what information they were finding. Many children found plain new facts because they were so interested in just new facts about the profession that they were researching. But when asked what information they found about tools, the children were then able to go back into the text and turn the pages and find the information about tools. And then they wrote that down on their Post-it. So I believe the children did acquire that information, that skill.
What did you do for the students who did not acquire the literary skills addressed in this lesson?
For the students who did not, it was just that re-questioning of what new facts they found. Again, many children found a lot of new facts, but needed to be redirected to tools in and of itself, and if we had found information about tools in and of itself.
Okay, we're almost there.
Okay.
Let's see, a couple more.
Okay.
Which behaviors from core action 3 did the students best exemplify in this lesson? What actions have you taken as a teacher to make that happen?
It's core action 3, them being involved, right? I
Yeah,
think.
The way I see is like more the collaboration with each other. And
Provide all students with opportunities to engage in the work of the lesson. And what was the question one more time? I'm sorry.
which behaviors from core action 3 did the students best exemplify in this lesson? What actions have you taken as a teacher to make that happen?
In core action 3, I think that the children best illustrated being able to persevere with challenging tasks, because the nonfiction text is not always very simplistic. And some of the pictures, some of the children had great background knowledge and some of them did not. An example was the stethoscope today. They all knew what it was used for, but only a couple of children knew what it was called. And those children then were able to share their knowledge with each other and help each other with a specific term that they already knew. That then goes to illustrate the behavior of creating the conditions for student conversations and planning tasks where they were encouraged to talk about each other's thinking, because they were talking about the pictures and what they saw in the pictures, what they noticed, what tools were being used, or how the tool was being used. So they were able to talk with each other about those things.
Would you like to comment on any of the submitted student work? Was there something that delighted or surprised you in particular?
Is submitted work meaning anything that was on video today, or could it be,
It could
do I
be-
need to do?
Let's refer to the notes that they were writing up today
Okay.
on the Post-its.
Okay. So I have been very impressed on a daily basis with what has been happening in the classroom with what they're writing on their Post-its. There was a little boy today who has usually been writing beginning sound, ending sound using pictures, but with all of his phonetic spelling today, I was able to read about how firemen use ladders to be able to carry someone down. That's what delights me. I get to see how much they are growing and helping each other grow, because they are pushing each other to use all of their letter sounds, as we call it in kindergarten, to be able to make those words and try their best to get each other to understand what they've been writing.
Great instructors are continuously learning. We want to understand what you celebrated in this lesson and what would you improve upon. Reflecting on the lesson, what worked particularly well and what might you do differently?
In this lesson, I don't know.
Well, it seemed pretty smooth.
It
You know,
did.
That's what you said when you walked out, so I would just reflect upon that.
Okay.
Because they were well behaved and
Okay. I think the lesson went very well. Children were moving where they needed to move. They were working together. We've been working on how to have those conversations. We've been working on building that partnership to be able to gather information together. I was very impressed with what they were able to do today. Trying to really have those deeper conversations is maybe where I would like to help them grow further. We do another research project in late winter about hibernation, and they'll have grown that much more as writers and readers. So I'm excited to see how that research project differs from this one with what they're able to do and what they're able to maintain from this research project to that research project.
And then last question. Were there any surprises or unexpected student behaviors or reactions?
There were no specific surprises in what the children were doing. I always smile, though, when a child has found something that they thought they knew, and then they were right. The research model that I follow is reading and analyzing nonfiction text, and that's through the work of Tony Stead. And instead of just asking them what they know about something, you ask them what they think they know. And then while you're researching, there's a spot for yes, I was right, and then a spot for new facts. So when a child stands up and declares, yes, I was right, it always makes me smile. And knowing that they have found something that they were right about excites them, which then excites me as a teacher.
You're done.
Yay!
Nice work.
Thank you.
All the interruptions.